Hello. Today I'm going to show you how to use Excel to record the information that you have for your science fair project. So the first thing you're going to do is to log into Office 365. When you get to Office 365, your page should look something like this. And notice in the middle here, it says Excel. You're going to click on Excel. And then you're going to pick the new blank workbook and click on that. Now the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to rename this document so that you'll know what it is. Up here at the top where it says Book 1, click on that, and then you're going to type in a new name. Put your last name and then the name of something to remind you of what experiment you were doing. And I'm going to talk about the yeast balloons that I demonstrated in class. So Thomas yeast balloons. Okay, so now each one of these little squares here, these rectangles, is called a cell. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to change the font, how big it is when we type in these cells. So I want to click on this little arrow here to highlight the whole page. And then I'm going to go up to where it says 11 on the little arrow next to 11, and I'm going to change it to 24. That way when we start typing, it's going to come in big enough. Now we're doing this online, so there might be a slight delay in when it changes sizes. Now I'm going to start. I can click anywhere to unhighlight this. And notice when I click, it highlights which which rectangle I'm on, which cell I'm on. So for example, this one is called D5. This cell is called E2. Okay, so I'm going to start, and in cell A1, I'm going to type my name. You're going to type your name. Notice how it comes out really big. It doesn't fit all the way. That means that we need to change how big our cells are. So if you move your cursor right in between the A and the B, not down here, it's got to be up here in between the letter A and the letter B, you'll notice a line with two arrows on it. Now hold the mouse down and now drag that line, and now it's going to be big enough. It's not big enough going the other direction either, so we have to do the same thing between the 1 and the 2. I'm going to move my cursor until I get that little line and then go down. And now I can see everything that I wrote. Okay, so there's my name. In A2, I'm going to type in the name of my experiment, and I'm going to type in yeast balloon, because that's what I was doing. And again, I'm going to have to change the height of this by going in between the 2 and the 3 and moving it down. Okay, now I'm going to start in cell A4. I want to go to A4, and in A4 I'm going to type in, remember there's 3 things that I was comparing. Now remember your experiment, you're not going to write my name and you're not going to write yeast balloon, you're going to write whatever your experiment was. And right here you're going to put the 3 things that you were comparing. So in our case, with my case with the yeast balloon, we were comparing hot water. So hot, and I have to move it down so I can read that, to room temperature, and again I have to move that down so I can read it, and I want to move this one over so I can see all that, and then to cold, and again I'm going to move it down so I can see. In the top up here, in cell B3, I'm going to type in the word trial 1. And again, I have to adjust the size of that cell so I can see everything that I was doing here. And then the next one is going to be trial. Don't write trail, I just write trial 2. And I need to adjust how wide that is. And then trial 3. And I have to adjust how wide that is. And then I'm going to put one more, and this is, I'm going to type in mean. This is the average that we're going to be having the computer calculate for us. Okay, now we have it all set up. Now I have to enter in the data that I got from actually doing the experiment. So when I did the experiment, the first time I got 35 centimeters for hot, and I got 20 centimeters for room temperature, and I got 4 centimeters for cold. And the second time I did it, I got 37 centimeters, I got 22 centimeters, and I got 8 centimeters. That was how big the balloon got when we added yeast and sugar and water to the balloon, to the bottle. And then for trial 3, 32 and 18 and 6. Now notice I am not putting any anything except for numbers in here. You can only put numbers in. Don't put anything else. Don't write yes or no. Don't write 35 centimeters. Just put the numbers in. Now to have it calculate the mean automatically, I'm going to click on the cell E4, and then I'm going to go up to the top where it says Insert, and I'm going to pick Function, and now I'm going to come over here and pick Average. And then I'm going to say OK, and it wants to know the average of what, so I'm going to highlight this cell and this cell and this cell, and then let go, and push the Enter bar on my keyboard. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I go up to Function, Average, I highlight, oopsie, I forgot to say OK. I have to highlight this, this, and this without letting go, and then I push Enter. And it gives me the average of those 3 numbers automatically. I'm going to do it one more time. Function, Average, OK. I'm going to highlight the 3 things that I want the average of and push the Enter button, and there we go. Now I don't need all of these, all of the fractional part here. I don't need these decimals. So I'm going to click on this and then go to Home. And then notice there's a button over here with zeros on it, and I always forget which one is which. So if I click it one way, oh, there gets more. If I click it the other way, there gets less places. I just want whole numbers. So I clicked it till they're whole numbers. Okay, so now we have the table. The next part is to make the table look nice. So to make the table look nice, I'm going to highlight just the table. Okay, now notice there's one cell that is still white. Okay, if I click anywhere, it goes away. No matter where I start, when I start, the starting one is going to be the one that's white. Okay, notice if I start here and highlight, that's the one that's white. But it's still selected. You have to look at the outer perimeter here is what we're looking at. So this is all highlighted. So now I already have it at 24, which is good, but I want to center these nicely. So here are the centered ones. I'm going to click on that one to center it up and down, and this one to center it in the middle of the cell, that way. And then I'm going to go over here to the borders, and I'm going to click on this little arrow next to this little window pane looking kind of thing. Click on that little arrow and then pick all borders. And now it looks very nice. Now while it's still selected, now I can make the graph from it. To make the graph, you just go up here to click on Insert, and then I want a column graph. So I select Column, 2 column, the first one, and click on it, and there's my graph. I can grab it and move it over here, move it underneath it nicely. And now we need to do some things with this because it needs a title, and we need to put something under here, and the titles on the left-hand side also. So it's already selected. I know that because it's got little circles here. I can come right here to Chart Title, click on it, and then I want this to go above the chart. And so I'm going to click Above Chart. And I'm going to put in the title for mine, and I'm going to call this How Big the Balloon gut. Of course, you put in a title for yours saying what your experiment was. And then click OK, and automatically it goes onto the chart. Now I want to put the axis in. So I'm the titles for this part here and this part here. This is the horizontal one. So I'm going to click on this and then pick horizontal and go down to, I want it to be below. And what are these? Hot, cold, what? This is the temperature of the water. Temperature of water. And I'm going to say OK. And that shows, now I know what hot, when I'm saying hot, I know exactly that means that's the temperature of the water, hot, room temperature, and cold water. Okay, I have to tell the people that are going to be looking at this what these numbers are. So I'm going to go back up to this axis and say vertical, and now go over, and I want the title to be rotated. It shows it's going to go up and down like this. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to type in size of balloon in centimeters. Make sure you put in whatever you measured it in seconds, in milliliters, in grams, whatever your unit of measure was. Make sure you say that right here. And then I'm going to say OK. And now it shows up. Anybody who looks at these will say, oh, 25. What is that? 25 centimeters, because it's written right there. The third thing I want to do is I want to change the legend. The legend, I'm going to click on legend, and I want it to show on the side. So I'm going to show the legend to the right. The legend is this saying what all of these color bars are. So the blue is when I did trial 1, and the orange is trial 2, etc. Okay, so now I have my table and I have my graph. I can make my graph bigger on this page here if I want to. And the last thing I need to do is to print this. Now, when you're at school, you don't have a printer hooked up to your computer, so you won't be able to print it from school. In that case, you should share your document with your teacher. Go up here and push share, and then enter your teacher's name in so that she can see it, and then she'll be able to print it for you. If you're at home, you can do this Excel online from home. If you have a computer that's attached to a printer, you will first want to highlight what it is that you want to print. So if you want to only print the graph, you would highlight that area first, and again, then go up to File, Print, and then make sure you pick your current selection. I would change it to landscape, and I would also change this no scaling to fit on one page, and then press print, and it will print out just that page. If you want to highlight and print your your table, you would highlight that portion of it and do the same thing. Go to File, go to Print, select that current selection, which is what you were just highlighting. Make sure it's on landscape, and then make sure it fits onto one page, and then say Print.